Jackson Lake State Forest Campground is located in Michigan's Lower Peninsula, north of Atlanta, just south of Clear Lake State Park. Campers looking to do some fishing on Jackson Lake can expect to catch some largemouth bass, black crappie, and sunfish. Jackson Lake State Forest Campground has only 18 campsites, but it's a perfect opportunity for overflow if you're heading to the Clear Lake State Park and you can't get a site there. From the campground, you have access to the Clear Lake Jackson Lake Pathway, which is about 7.5 miles long. It's a small hiking trail that runs from the Clear Lake State Park to the Jackson Lake State Forest Campground. It's actually part of a spur trail that runs through the High Country Pathway, an 82-mile-long hiking and horseback riding trail that goes through the state of Michigan. We, of course, have to check out the hand pump for water that's here in the campground. There's no running water. You have to pump your own, which is normal for state forest campgrounds. There's very few that actually have water from a spigot. Took a few pumps, but we do have running water, and it's not rusty or gross looking, so that's always a perk. You can see there's a little view of Jackson Lake, and it's not a busy campground right now by any means, but I'm sure in the summertime it fills up. This lake is only 25 acres in size, so it's not a big lake. It'd be perfect if you're bringing a canoe or a kayak. Some of the campsites actually have a little path down there where you can drag your canoe or kayak to launch it out into the lake. You can see we have the upgraded fire rings with the cement on the inside. It helps prevent you from burning yourself, and it actually does help prevent the rings from heating up and things on the outside burning. Here's a quick look at Jackson Lake. There's a little bit more to it than that, but not much since it's so small. There is no boat launch on the lake that I could find anywhere. There's plenty of opportunity for the canoes or kayaks, but no boat launch to back a larger boat and motor in with. We're going to head on over and check out the outhouses here. They're pretty nice looking on the outside. We'll take a look at the inside. Pretty normal, nothing too special, nothing too weird or gross. I like the fact that there's a sign that says, please close the door. That's pretty important when you got critters running around just waiting to get inside. Last thing you want to do is open the door and have a squirrel or a bear jump out at you that's been trapped inside. You can see all of the sites here are actually pretty nice sites. Site number 18 is big. We've got some sites that are plenty big enough to back a 40-foot trailer into. But then there's a handful that are only suited for pop-up campers and tents, maybe a very small travel trailer. There is a parking spot just up the road for a small picnic area. The picnic area is pretty shaded and it allows a slight bit of access to the water down here. I'll head down and take a look so we can see what kind of water access we have. There's one of those charcoal grills that I've never ever actually seen anybody use, but they seem to put them everywhere. Our water access is pretty minimal. Again, it'd be a good spot if you were going out fishing to launch a canoe or kayak. Maybe if you were desperate for a swim, but it's definitely not a beach situation. Some of the campsites are directly across from one another, but they have plenty of growth and understory growing in between each one of them. So you can't see your neighbors super well. You'll probably be able to hear them. You just won't be able to see them. You get most of the way through the campground before you come up to the registration station. The registration station has another one of those fancy hand pumps, and it's loose as heck. It's wobbling all over the place. But it does still work, and it is still nice clear water. It just feels like it's going to pop right off and fall to the ground, so be careful. I don't know if someone backed into it or what, but hopefully somebody comes along and fixes that soon. Here's campsite number 8. This is one of those nice big ones for a really large rig. Or a couple for how big this is. It's ridiculous. 2 more outhouses just down the way. I am not going to check out every single outhouse in this campground because I think there were 3 or 4. I'm just going to keep walking down the road here. I'm coming up to the end of the campground, or at least I think I am, because I'm running out of campsite numbers. But again, you can see these campsites, some of them are just massive. And it's nice because some of them actually kind of go in and then wrap around. So from the road, if you wanted to move your picnic table around, you don't have like a straight visual of campers. You're a little tucked in and behind and hidden. Down at the end of the road, some of these campsites get a little bit nicer and have a little bit more access to the lake. Again, nothing you're going to be backing a boat into or anything, but the hiking trail is at the very end of the road. And it's also an ORV trail. From the campground, you have direct access to ORV trails. So that's one concern that I would have. If you don't want to hear that, it's probably not a place to go on the weekends because those ORVs can be very noisy. Overall, though, this was a really nice campground.